All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to get started. Thanks for bearing with us. Just wanted to make sure we had enough board members here. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order, please. Thank you. First of all, Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to our first Community Board 1 meeting of 2025. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday season. Today's agenda is we have a public hearing item. This is regarding a fresh grocery store. We're going to hear a presentation, and the public can speak as well if they have any comments or questions regarding that. Then we're going to have our public session where members of the public can speak about any issue facing the community, up to 2 minutes per speaker. Then we have our business session where we'll get committee reports and other reports as well as votes on some items, old new business, and then any elected official and representatives, any announcements that they have. Okay, so that's the agenda for this evening. Again, we are going to start with public hearing item number 1. This is for an application filed on behalf of Gagnier Market, LLC, to seek a chair certification pursuant to Section 6330 of the zoning resolution to facilitate inclusion of 12,832 square feet fresh grocery store within a new as-of-right mixed-use development at 27-09 40th Avenue in Long Island City. The action would result in an additional 13,012 square feet of additional floor area for residential use. So we do have a presentation here by the applicant, so we're going to hand it over to them.
There's a sign-in board here. I'll put it underneath. Good evening, everybody. Nice to see everybody. Happy New Year. Hope everybody's staying warm. My name is Eric Palatnik. I am an attorney, and I'm happy to be representing the owner of the property, which is a local owner. And they own some grocery stores, and they're making an application, or they've made an application for a certification to the Department of City Planning for what's called a fresh store. Now, if I look familiar and any of this sounds familiar, it's because we've been in front of your board, I think, twice already with this. We presented it to them as an introduction. And since we've done all of that, the Department of City Planning has signed off on the application paperwork, meaning that they've deemed it to be complete, and it's pending their approval. And while it's pending their approval, they've asked for us to bring it to the community board for you to take a look at it, which is why I've introduced it to you a couple of times already, with the hopes that when I got here, you'd be familiar with it and I wasn't catching you off guard. So in the steps of the process of what we're doing here is, my name again is Eric, and I'm here tonight to make an application for what's called a certification to city planning, an authorization, to city planning, and that will allow for the proposed supermarket. Now, if you can go to the next slide, please, I'll walk you through for a few minutes what we're proposing to do, or what we're doing. The building you can see there on the right-hand side of the screen is built already. It's a 6-story, 60-foot tall, mixed-use residential and commercial building with a small contractor's establishment in it. It'll have a fresh food store at the ground floor. If you look at the middle column, it explains it to you, of 12,083 square feet, and it'll have approximately 5,000 square feet of a contractor's establishment. That's the light manufacturing area. It'll have 46 apartments. It's built already. It will have 113 parking spaces. It's built already. What we're asking permission to do is to convert 12,000 square feet of the space that's already built at the lower level to a fresh store. And if we do that, which we request to do, then that'll enable us to gain an additional 12,000 square feet for residential space at the upper floors. So that is the nature of the request that's currently before you. Go to the next slide. You can see here what the site looked like before it was built. The last picture I showed you was what it is now. And I'm just going to go through a couple of slides quickly. The building is proposed to be 60 feet tall, which it's currently built. Go to the next slide, please. And you can see there that it's surrounded by buildings of much taller height. If you can click a couple of slides forward, we'll take everybody to the plans. I think that's, well, actually, why don't you stop on plan sheet 8, drawing number 8 of your, number 8 of your presentation. I'm sorry, I made it difficult for you. I'm making you click around too much. That is just before the photos. It's the plan sheet, the sheet just before the photos. We've also created for you here a map that shows you other properties around us, that show you where our property is in the middle, and then show you other supermarkets. So as you can see, our proposed supermarket is not necessarily interfering with any other supermarket in the area. If you can go to the next slide, we'll show you a couple of pictures of the building. As I said, it's under construction, so you'll see that as you go through the next slides. It's already done, but the pictures here show it under construction. As I said, we've been at this for a couple of years. And if you go to the building plans, if you go to plan sheet 101. Plan sheet 101, if all of you have them in front of you, it gives you a couple of pieces of different information, but the first thing it does is shows you the sub-cellar and the cellar level parking area. We are substantially overparked. The city of Yes does not require that much parking, yet we are providing it. And the first floor plan and the second floor plan show you the proposed layout, and you can take a look at that and understand what's going on. And that pretty much explains the development. If you go click through a couple more slides, go almost to the very end. The last third from the end has the fresh plans. There you go. Now this, you don't have color copies in front of you because the color machine broke out. But what these plans are showing you is in greater detail is the first floor plan, which is the whole reason why we're here in front of you. And what it's showing you is what the different uses are within the space, and it's explaining to you versus the color code, which I don't have either, but that there'll be a percentage of the space allocated to the sale of perishable goods. There'll be a percentage of space for the sale of food and non-food grocery products, and there'll be a percentage of space allocated for fresh produce. This is why we're here tonight. The purpose of the application is for the City of New York to make sure that the supermarket will occupy the lower floor and that it will be a supermarket and it won't be a Duane Reade or a Rite Aid or anything like that. And that's why we're here this evening. The building will be the subject of an already created restrictive declaration, which will require that the fresh store occupy the ground floor in perpetuity. And I don't know how long perpetuity for a supermarket in New York City will be, but I guess a very long time. And I'll be happy to answer any questions anybody has. I hope I kept it under the time frame. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're going to open it up for questions from the board. Richard?
Yes, the fresh markets, the issue that's always come up, and I'd like you to clarify it, is what happens if the supermarket goes out of business and they cannot find another market to move in to replace it? What happens? Who controls the space? Will they end up putting a CVS in there because they have no choice? And who makes those decisions?
That decision would be subject to an application that have to be made separately to the City Planning Commission, which would again go through a process with your board's interaction before anything could be changed to undo the restricted declaration affecting the premises. Otherwise, any occupancy contrary to the use that's approved here tonight and hopefully subsequently approved by the City Planning Commission would be contrary to the certificate of occupancy and would be a violationable offense and would be grounds for the revocation of the CFO.
Anyone else?
So, just one
go ahead,
follow-up.
Richard. Sure.
So that means that if in fact it's in violation, if you did have residential property that 12,000 square feet of residential, you would not be able to rent it out. You would have to remove the tenants.
Theoretically, the tenants would have to leave. I don't believe the city of New York.
You're not going to knock it down. It's already built.
Yeah, that part of the question the city is yet to see confronted and play out.
Okay. Thanks.
Anyone else have any questions? I have a question. Oh, you still have, we'll take questions from the public in a second, okay? But do you still have the same supermarket
Yes.
company that's going to
Yep.
move in?
Yep, same one I explained at the last committee meeting. I have some notes here, and then I can just read to you. The other markets they operate are the Food for Health, which is in 92nd and 3rd, in Manhattan, a Matter of Health, which is 72nd and 3rd in Manhattan, and then they have 2 other stores in Westchester. But if anybody wanted to see their other stores in Manhattan, we encourage you. One is on 92nd and 3rd, the other's on 72nd and 3rd, and we could even arrange a tour of it for you. But they're specialty supermarkets, basically. They're not name brand supermarkets, but they provide everything a supermarket would.
Okay, Christian?
Yes, I have a question for you. You guys are developing this thing, right?
Excuse me?
You guys are developing this, right? Do you picked up your general contractor on that one already?
Oh, it's already been built.
It's already been built.
The building is built, yeah.
Rosemary?
Hi, I'm not super familiar with the regulations when it comes to grocery store and what payments they are required to accept. Would this market accept EBT, SNAP benefits, that type of payment? from
I'm
their
not
customers?
familiar with what their business practices would be, but I could ask and I'll get back
That would
to
be
the
great.
board.
I know Butterfield Market had plans last year to come in on 40th Ave, so I just wanted to check, make
SNAP
sure that
EBT benefits?
absolutely.
Any other board members? Amin?
Thank you for your presentation. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. How many parking spot you are offering for the store?
There's quite a few, as I was mentioning a few minutes ago. There's almost no parking spaces required under City of Yes these days, but 113 would be provided, 56 residential parking spaces, and 55 non-residential parking spaces. That's more than.
That's
than
the building one, but do you have that, the fresh store, do they have their separate parking?
Yeah, they'll have,
Oh, that's the
those
same
will
one
have
that are using.
55 parking spaces. It's overparked, that's much more than is required, it's almost twice as much as is required.
Jean Marie?
Yeah, in regards to the parking, is it going to be free parking to
Yes,
customers?
for customers,
Free,
for customers, yes.
okay.
Residents will have to buy or rent a spot, and customers will be given a spot so long as they shop in the market.
Thank you.
Liz, did you have any questions, comments?
Yes, I do. One thing I just wanted to tell the board members, I don't know if you read it already, but there's a draft letter to city planning regarding a proposed, I'm assuming that there will be support for this. If there are any changes, please let me know. I mean, we're going to talk about it later during our committee reports. But the other thing is, you'll see at the bottom, the very bottom, there is a section to insert comments that come from the community board members or anybody from the public for tonight. So this is as I said, it's a draft, and there are some corrections that have to be made with respect to the numbers, because in comparing the original application that we looked at and the one that is dated September and was referred out to us finally, there were minor adjustments in the numbers with respect to the floor area and FAR and things like that. And it was more definitive in how much space was going to be dedicated to fresh produce as opposed to non-food items within the store. So there are just little changes that have to be made on this. But the main thing I would like from you are any comments that you want to add. Mr. Palatnik, we talked about these minor changes. But the other thing that I wanted to ask you was, I noticed also in the difference in the statements of findings, there's a lot more requested or stated that seems to be new than what we originally got, and it has to do with, I just wanted to know if city planning has changed their findings in the resolution. I didn't have time to look this up, but we're talking about, towards the end of the findings regarding the certification, changes to, well, city planning, let me see, you're going to be able to, I'm just hypothetically, the applicant will be able to change the floor layout as long as they just let city planning know? That's something that wasn't in the original?
City planning has given us the direction of the language to be utilized with the hopes that the final ultimate approval will allow an applicant to have a little more flexibility, understanding that where they place the plan you have up on the screen, for example, not every operator is going to end up keeping that forever. They're going to change it as times go on. Coconut milk may be popular today, orange juice may be popular tomorrow. Nobody could have ever invented where they have a plant-based meat. So nobody, 10 years ago, there wouldn't be a plant-based meat section. So it allows for more flexibility as time goes on. It doesn't change the underlying premise of the application, rather just gives flexibility so you don't waste city resources amending minor changes.
Okay. The last thing, the last paragraph in the findings seems to be something new where they're really specific about, well, actually, about your permit lapsing if you don't use it in 4 years? Yeah. That's new?
No, that's.
Because I've never seen it before.
The city planning has the right to put a time frame in.
Okay. So this is it?
Yep.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Kian?
Just curious, when you mentioned that there are 2 sets of parking, are they separated? Like, are they in different areas?
No, there'll just be different delineations for the parking spaces.
Okay. Is there, just what comes to mind is like enforcement, right? Like, there were customers that were trying to take parking spaces that were owned by the residents, or?
Yeah, no different than any other parking area, there's private parking, reserved parking, there'll be enforcement, I guess, if somebody's a perpetual, or there aren't ways to address it. I'm sure there'll be, a method set up.
Got it. I just didn't know if it was structurally separated. I've seen where there's a different entrance, or there's like a wall of some kind.
It's all connected. So.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions from board members? Okay, I'd like to leave the opportunity, since it's a public hearing item, for any members of the public. If you want to comment on this particular item, the fresh grocery store, you can step up to the podium, sign in. If you'd like to do that. So I saw. Go ahead. No, please, you have to go to the podium and you got to sign in.
I did sign in.
Oh, great. Okay.
And yes, podium, because we're live streaming. Hi, I just...
Say your name, please.
Christina Chase. I'm a Ravenswood resident and a former Queensbridge resident, so excited that a supermarket may be in walking distance to Queensbridge residents, but I wanted to echo Ms. Rosemary's concern and question about EBT and WIC being accessible here to ensure equitable access to all residents, including long-standing residents of Queensbridge.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for speaking. I'm a big fan of Queensbridge. Bishop Taylor. Bishop Taylor is a good friend of mine. I will find that out, and I'll get back to you on that. I'll get
Anyone
back to
else?
the board.
Any other members of the public? Okay, I'm going to close this item. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you for your time, everybody.
Thanks. We'll be discussing it later during the committee reports later in the business section of the board meeting. Next up, we have public session. This is where any member of the public can come up to speak, again, for up to 2 minutes. Just make sure you sign in, say your name. And Tyrone is timing.
Hi, my name is David Kufferberg and I am a concerned citizen. The MTA released the Queens Bus Network redesign proposed final plan addendum on December 17th. The MTA is slated to approve it at their committee meetings on January 27th and the board meeting on January 29th. Possible implementation for June 2025. In the back I have route profiles from the MTA website and my critique of the addendum. Ladies and gentlemen, the MTA refuses to acknowledge independent analyses presented during the public hearing in July 2024 that demonstrate that bus stop balancing would neither significantly reduce bus speed nor travel times in Queens. Bus stop balancing was done in the Bronx. Bus speed increased by only 2.9%. The MTA wants the B62 diverted and extended to Astoria, and the Q101 no longer serve Midtown Manhattan. The neighborhoods of Astoria and Long Island City attempted to demonstrate to the MTA that there is support for the Q101's and B62's current route structure. Why? Because these neighborhoods for a long time have been demanding a new route via 21st Street and the Queens Midtown Tunnel. I'll call it the Q92. In Manhattan, the Q92 would serve NYU Langone Medical Center, Bellevue Hospital, and VA Hospital. Such a bus route would significantly increase accessibility and connectivity. The efforts were fruitless. The addendum's Q102 is an affront to the people of Astoria and Long Island City. Either leave the Q102 as is, or operate the Q102 via 31st Street and 20th Avenue to Hazen Street. The BX41 SBS should be extended from the Bronx to LaGuardia Airport Terminal A. People would no longer have to travel via Manhattan, cutting travel times mostly in half. To the Community Board, do not allow the MTA to shove the redesign down your throats. The project must be delayed until it is done right. To the MTA, the addendum is not better bus service. Go back to the drawing board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, anyone else want to come up and speak?
Good evening and Happy New Year. My name is Tasmeen Ruba and I'm the Community Liaison for the upcoming Astoria Family Enrichment Center. We are located at 3118 31st Street, but we are currently under construction. We are a free community-led community center that anticipates providing free support through food pantries, workshops such as housing workshops, and other free events as we partner with community and local organizations and businesses. We also speak your language, Spanish and Bangla. Our main priority is to uplift and support our community. We anticipate opening our doors to Astoria residents sometime in mid-February. More information about us can be found on this flyer here at the front. As of right now, we're seeking local community members to join our advisory council. We are looking for individuals who are dedicated to serving and advocating for their community. If you believe that's you and would like to learn more about our advisory council, please, after this meeting, come find me or our FEC director, Connor Kaufman, and inquire about our advisory council. Or you can also email us at our email here at this flyer to learn a little bit more about us. With that being said, I want to thank you for your time, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening and stay warm. Thank you.
Could you just say the email, because sometimes people are watching the meeting, they might not be present.
Sure, the email is fecinfo@resettlement.org. Do you want me to spell it out?
Yeah, go ahead.
FECINFO@RISSETTLEMENT.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Happy New Year, everybody. My name is Traysana Abbott. I'm an Astoria resident, personally affected by Amy Howe's terrible leadership. For the last 3 months, I've spoken to this board about the keffiyeh ban that Amy enacted at the Noguchi Museum. Today, I will speak to Amy directly. First, the death toll in the genocide is over 46,000 Palestinians. This is a conservative number, as many bodies are left under the rubble and are unable to be counted. This weekend has brought a ceasefire agreement, but Israel has continued to assault civilians in the region. Amy, with your choice to fire 4 hardworking people, also you can keep your position of power, you chose to proudly stand on the side of genocide. Just speaking for myself, you chose the path of bullying and censorship over what your actual job would have supported, which is policy change. I was dragged into a private meeting where wearing the keffiyeh was totally okay and told that I couldn't work that day and that I should go home. A week later, an email came out with some supposed policy. And I think that's wrong. I don't think that that's how leaders should conduct business, Amy. I think that you should work through policy and not through bullying. You should be removed from this committee because after my first time speaking, you chose to vacate your duties for months. You should have stayed gone. Astoria is not a safe space for genocide denial. We love our Arab neighbors and we despise cowardly bullies like yourself who use their positions of power to throw rocks and hide their hands. I was told when I was terminated that I was going to be able to have an exit interview, only to be told by HR that Amy Howe specifically said I was not allowed to, and I wasn't given any reason why. So It should be noted that the Noguchi Museum staff decided to unanimously decided to unionize at the early start of this year, and it is in great part due to the terrible leadership Amy Howe has enacted in her 1 year as director of that museum. It ended with them deciding that they actually need a lot more say over their workplace because she just can't be trusted. I will end with an Isamu Noguchi quote from
Sorry,
1942.
Time's up.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Anyone else?
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope everyone is having a great New Year, had a great holiday. My name is Natasha Diaz. I am the outreach coordinator for the Civilian Complaint Review Board, the city government agency that investigates the NYPD for things like abuse of authority, excessive force, bias-based policing, and racial profiling. So as the outreach coordinator, I'm just here to educate the public that I am available to. I do presentations, workshops on the right to know, the CCRB, what we do, who we are, and just, let the public know about the CCRB. So if anyone is interested in that information, I'll be sitting right here, and I left some information on the table. Thank you, have an awesome night, and please stay warm.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Gabriela Torrano. I'm a resident of Astoria, and I want to mention two issues that I have been noticing for the past winters, and is that nobody really cleans the sidewalks. Probably the city take care of the roads for people that drive, but not for people that walk. In front of this building, in front of this property, today, at this moment, is a lot of ice on the sidewalk. And this is all over, at least the area where I live, which is 14th Street, 31st Avenue, and around that area. I don't know why this has been happening. It's not the first winter, it's not the first storm, and nobody seems to be talking about it or doing anything, which is more important. The other issue that I have is that we have been without a street light for more than 3 months. I sent a complaint to 311. It was taken. A month later, still we don't have lights, so I sent another complaint. And I got an answer saying that the complaint about that specific street light had been placed already. So I have no rights to complain anymore, kind of thing. But still, today, we don't have a street light. We are in the longest dark days of the year, and the block is dark. And these are my complaints for the winter. I come back in the summer. Thank you.
So you can also call the board office tomorrow and give the location, and they can help follow up on that street light for you.
I wish I didn't have to come here to do this. Right?
I know, but that's why we're here too. So
Thank you.
please call the office tomorrow, okay?
The board office, okay.
Hi, good evening again. My name is Christina Chase. I introduced myself as a resident of Ravenswood Houses, but I also have the honor and privilege of serving on our Resident Association board as second vice president. I've lived in Queens all my life, and this area specifically since 1996. So I'm really passionate about what's happening around us, and I wanted to bring to attention something that might already be on your agenda, but as you may know, Councilmember Julie Wan's office is working with the Department of City Planning on this plan called One LIC. I've been actually attending the town hall since December 2023, I think is when they started. I know a lot of you have been there along with me, so shout outs to you for being on this journey with me. some of you might remember, we've came up with so many great conversations and so many wonderful community ideas. And unfortunately, those ideas were not reflected in the proposal that DCP had presented. And so we want to bring to attention and invite you to the town, it's not a town hall, a public event that Julie Wan's office is doing this Saturday, January 25th, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. It's at IS 78 in LIC, that's 46-08 5th Street, to basically voice your opinion on what you think should happen with this plan. So to be more specific, this meeting is regarding 4 city-owned public sites. So that means that's our land, that's city-owned, and that we should have a say in what happens to that land. There's proposals to do a wonderful community land trust hub. There's also proposals to do some green hub resilience plans along the waterfront, all of which these ideas were expressed during the town halls. However, again, these aren't in the proposal, so we're hoping to get more community voices to support this, but also to be clear that we want 100% deeply affordable housing or no rezoning at all. I know that's a lot to push forward,
time's
but
up.
okay.
Thank you. That's Saturday.
Thank you. See you there. Yep, this Saturday.
No, board members don't speak at this time.
No, I just need the address.
Oh, the address is, it's PSIS 78
Thank you.
in Long Island City on Saturday.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Any other member of the public? Okay, all right. We're going to close public session and move on to the business section. We're going to start off with adoption of the December 2024 minutes.
I move to adopt the minutes.
Okay.
Townsend.
Anyone have any changes, comments on the minutes? Okay, then let's take a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. No one's going to abstain from that, right? Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. Okay. Just quickly from me, just a reminder that community board applications are open. So both board members whose terms are up, you need to reapply again. So make sure you should have gotten notification. It's your responsibility to apply. Members of the public, you can apply as well if you're interested in serving on the community board. It is handled by the borough president's office. We have nothing to do with that. So the borough president's office accepts the applications, they vet the applications, and they do the selection for the various community boards throughout Queens. The application is due February 14th. It is an online application. So if you are interested, I don't know if the borough president's website is up again. I know they were working on it. But it should be up, so go to the borough president's website. If you, for some reason, can't find it, just contact the board office. We can send you the link. We sent it out via our email newsletter as well. So if you haven't subscribed to that, please go to our website, sign up at the bottom. You can get all the emails that go out about board meetings and other information that's useful as well. So once again, community board member applications due February 14th. To the borough president's office for Queens. Okay. Just also so you kind of know what's happening at the end of the month, each community board will present to the borough president its budget season, kind of what the capital and expense requests are. So Florence will be testifying at that meeting on behalf of the community board and the priorities that we came up with in the fall. So just start thinking ahead, even though it seems like we just did it. Start thinking ahead about, your March, April, and May meetings to start having those discussions about what it is that the community needs. Make sure you're talking to the different constituencies that you work with or that you serve or that you're a part of, different groups that you're a part of, if there are capital or expense needs that you want to start to see included in next year's budget process. But that's where we are with this year's. Borough president will be taking testimony at the end of the month from the community boards. Okay, that's it for me. I'm going to hand it over to Florence for the district manager's report.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. It's good to see you all. The New York City Fire Department needs our support after what we have seen occur in California. Fire departments are critical service providers. We as New Yorkers need to know that the FDNY have the modern apparatus they need to protect us as residents. We also need to be certain the agency has resourcing for the resources, training, staffing, and public safety education. There are 1.6 million calls made to EMS. They are making do with less and also require resources because they are hardly utilized. Individuals are calling EMS with the items that may be handled at an urgent care or doctor's office, and this adds to log, which may delay critical care for individuals. FDNY needs our support to take care of us as New Yorkers. This is a very important topic that should be discussed with friends, family, and our elected officials. Please talk about this topic. Thank you all, and have a wonderful evening.
Okay, thank you, Florence. All right, we're going to go on to committee reports. We're going to start with Business and Economic Development. Brian?
Brian Hunt apologizes for not being here, and we don't have any report right now.
Okay, thank you. Communications and Public Outreach. I think he was not here. I know he's working on setting up a meeting for February. Okay, Consumer Affairs and Licenses. Kathleen couldn't make it this evening, so Maria is going to present.
Okay, thank you so much. First, we'll discuss the January 2025 liquor licenses. The committee found no reason not to bring all these to the board for approval. There were no comments, negative, from the police department. So I would ask for a motion to approve the January 2025 liquor license application.
Okay, Antonella, anyone second? Tom, okay. Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns about any of the applicants on the list? No? Okay, seeing no questions, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, 2. Yep, thank you. Okay, motion carries. Anything else, Marie, to add?
Well, there was outdoor dining. However, I'm going to ask Florence, this list, I think it's for February. This is not the ones we reviewed.
In the board packet?
Can you check on that? It says February. I don't recognize any of these. For the outdoor dining I'm talking about. Okay, I'm just saying, so.
So can we pull up the list from?
It's okay, it's just, when I read it, I went, this doesn't look like who we had.
Okay, let me just see if I can.
The bond was on there, let me think who else.
Naz, did you have a question about any of the establishments, or were you going to?
Not about this list, but I mean, I just wanted to flag for the committee in case they had any capacity to maybe look into a little bit. Code is, my understanding is that they're not up for renewal for a while. However, this is one of those locations that very recently had a shooting and has had many others before, and they've been, according to social media, which I know is not 301 reports, a pretty constant nuisance in the community in terms of stories being seen on social media. So I don't think we reviewed them whenever the last time they were up for renewal was, but it might be worth taking a look to see just on account of the recent events that took place there.
Okay, I'll pass that info on to Kathleen, who's not here, but Marie certainly can as well. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. So I do have the list.
Rod just saved the day. He
Okay,
also
great.
has it.
Okay, great. Go ahead, Marie.
But the problem is nobody else has it. But you'll have to take my word for it. Okay. You may certainly, Rod. Please.
Those of you who have active devices that have internet connection, if you look at the email from Florence on January 7th, going to the Consumer Affairs meeting, you will find the Consumer Affairs memo, which does have a list of these that Marie is going to be reading from.
Okay. You'll find the list, but let me point out that Gramercy Cafe never attended the meeting. They pulled their application. Chateau Le Wolf, no problem. Telly's Taverna, no problem. New York Bakery Cafe on 30th Avenue, no problem. Birthday, 3501 Ditmars, I wouldn't call it a problem. However, we asked them to remove some tables. They were supposed to send an amendment to the district office. Did you receive that, Florence? Okay, to remove I think it was 5 tables and 10 chairs on 35th Street, because we thought it was an excessive, just excessive. And they agreed. So that would be the only difference from the original, and the bar and coffee shop was no problem as well. So if I could get a motion to approve these as read. Thank you.
Okay, Chris, second with Jean Marie. Okay, any discussion or questions? I just want to clarify that some of these are like roadway and sidewalk, and some are just roadway. So Telly's Taverna is roadway and sidewalk. Chateau Le Wolf Cafe is roadway. Botte Ditmars is roadway and sidewalk. The Barn Coffee Shop.
On Ditmars, we asked them to remove, that was sidewalk, and it was...
Oh, the entire sidewalk?
No.
Oh.
5 tables, 10 chairs from 35th Street.
Okay, great. Thanks for that clarification. Barn Coffee Shop is roadway and sidewalk, and New York Bakery Cafe is roadway and sidewalk. Just okay. Any questions, comments? No? Okay. Let's take a vote. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Anything else, Marie?
That's it.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on from Consumer Affairs and head to Education, Libraries, and Youth Services. Amin?
Good evening, everyone. Again, we had a meeting last Thursday, and we've been talking about that letter we are planning to send to the DOE, and we've been talking about that school. You have a letter on the very end page. You can just see that, the draft. Anyone wants to include anything, you can just let us know. Anybody has any questions, you can just ask us. And we've been talking about that new school. So I think that's the most important thing that land use committee is going to handle that, because they have the issue with that location, and they are far away still about talking about the program of the school. So we'll do that later. So let's go for that the draft that we made. Anybody? So how?
Okay, so just making sure that everyone sees the letter. It was sent out by email today, but also as the final page. It's not addressed to anyone. Who is it going to go to? Who do you want?
We're gonna go. Florence said that the board office has to send that to the.
No, I understand, but who's it addressed to? Who are you sending?
Addressed to the school chancellor.
The chancellor. Okay.
Yes.
So it's regarding education around substance abuse. And increasing education and awareness around the issue, and some steps to do that. Parent workshops, age-appropriate curriculum, community involvement, strengthened communication, and promoting a safe and supportive school environment. So you're asking for the board to approve this letter so that it goes to the chancellor?
Yes.
Okay. So can I have a motion? Okay, Shahanaz, second. Maricela. Okay, questions, comments?
Yes, Kian. you just expand a little bit more on what the security enhancements that you're proposing are?
I've been talking to school, and they're saying that since Mayor Blasio withdrew that the checking system, they are unable to do check anything, even though they knows that kids are going to the bathroom and using, and that bathroom is safe haven. They are going rapidly, and they know that they are doing that in the bathroom, but they cannot check it. So some kind of that checking system has to be there, that if they see that some kids are going rapidly to the bathroom and coming out, even though when they are going in they don't have to check it, but when they're coming out they can just check their pocket, that if they do have any kind of the harmful thing on their pocket, like e-cigarette or any the schools, last year we saw that they've been finding so many knife, some kinds of a lot of harmful thing was there in the bathroom. They found it. So if they don't have any checking system, they cannot check anything. Like they are not allowed to do that. So that was the reason that we recommend that, and that's needed.
Frank?
Based off of that, I might make a suggestion. So for those unfamiliar, there's something called loco parentis, which is the legal rights of educators to basically have certain portions of parental rights over the students. And that could include infringements on Fourth Amendment rights, search and seizure. I think there's a key distinction, though, between monitoring bathrooms, halls, and checking the person, like actually wanting to check pockets. I think, that might be a bridge too far and undermine the values of what we want for safe and sound education systems. And secondly, I think we actually would be opening the education system up to unnecessary litigation, because there's been a lot of court cases about what you can and can't do. So I would love for our letter, and I think we would all collectively agree, that it should be in pursuant of best practices of how these sorts of things can happen, and remove any mention of personal search and seizure. Thank you.
If everyone is thinking that way, so we can just avoid that portion. But I was just putting that there because the teacher and we get that from the administration that these things is stopping them to prevent save them. That's what they were saying.
Richard?
I just had one other item I'd like to bring up. It seems that they're going to be having a ban on cell phones. It looks like that's the governor is proposing that this happen through the state. Is that something that we want to support? Again, I don't have children in the schools, so I'm really not an expert on this, but I think it's something that is relevant at this time, because it's going to be happening. It looks like it's going to be happening, and it might be interesting for us.
That's a separate issue.
That's a separate
So we're
issue.
talking about the letter right here?
Yeah.
Okay,
It
so,
could be part of the letter, is what I'm saying.
well, let's see if there's going to be a ban first, maybe, I think. Did you have a
Yeah, I
comment,
want to ask
question?
him something. What school are you speaking about?
IS 121. IS 116, I'm sorry. Not 20. IS what? The on 21st Street between 30th Avenue, 31st Avenue and
126?
I'm sorry, 126. My mistake. Yeah.
Okay, so, did you have a, okay. So, I mean, you'd be okay if we kind of just struck that from the letter?
I'm okay, but I feel like if there is no such restriction, at least it is going to be prevent them to bring it sometimes, like some kind of metal, the weapon things that is carrying them, and there is no metal detector in the school currently. So we don't want to see any more Sandy Hook Elementary School that that happened, that things happen. We never know that what is happening in our neighborhood. So we need to have something should be there. I believe so. You can this correct it the way that we want, that we can just plan it that which way that it's going to be, like we have to write it. So we can just say both party.
Say what?
But like, we can just say the school environment and the parents and, the right of the students, like, both. I don't know how to just, explain it that, but, I believe that,
Yeah.
we need some kind of,
I mean, I share the same concern. We had a conversation
Yeah,
about it too. I
I've
shared
been
the same
talking
concern.
with her, yeah.
Just because my child went to a school that was highly, very, metal detectors, scanners, tons of security guards, and it didn't help the school environment. It did and kids still were still vaping in the gym, but anyway, that's a whole other issue. But I think, to the point is it is broad, right? But what does it mean? Chris, go ahead.
I know we're not here to wordsmith this letter,
Yeah.
but I find it a little broad too. It doesn't specifically mention direct searches of students. Maybe we can say an exploration of security measures that do not infringe on the rights, constitutional rights of the students in the school. I don't know if we want to go that way, but since it's broad, maybe we carve out, specifically say we're not looking to in any way really infringe on the human rights of the students.
Exactly.
It's one possibility of wording it slightly different, while still giving plenty of room for discussion.
Kian?
Yeah, just to plus one that, I think like being particular with words here is important, and I totally understand what you're saying. I think that something along the lines of like, for instance, enforcement, I think connotes something different than security. I also think that something to the extent of like a punitive measure, for instance, like increased penalties, right, for getting caught with something could also be a deterrent. But that's like something that you're basically trying to incentivize not to do, rather than kind of going after them and looking for it, right? So I would just want to point that out. Like, I know we're not here to wordsmith, but just as a suggestion, I do think that even softening some of the language or even having alternative proposals like that kind of get at the same thing, but without potentially conflating with constitutional rights and whatnot.
Yes, exactly. That we don't want to violate any rules, but, there should be something there that, that helps the environment.
Chris?
Sorry to go again. I just want to make a statement. I think the idea of the letter is great, but I think there's enough work to be done on this letter that I would not be able to vote against.
That's what we are. That's what we said. It's a draft. I want everyone, because when all of we, not only the committee, all of we, we're gonna build up a good things to get the good result. Yeah. So please email Florence. Anybody has any idea or anything that you wanted to put in that, the language that you wanted to do, it's just email her, and then we'll go forward next meeting. All right.
Yeah, it's not a time-sensitive manner, so so that's a great suggestion, and thank you for being open to that. Are there any other comments or thoughts about this? I said you can think about it more and send any comments that you want, but yeah, go ahead, Naz.
Just as a suggestion towards, kind of solidifying the whole letter overall, you kind of starts off with, we have observed an increase in behavioral issues. So like, this is something like, okay, where, who, how much, how little, this kind of stuff. So if you're citing a result of a study, or if you have one that you reference that kind of made you start thinking about this letter, I think that would be super helpful, because the way it's written now, understandably, it's a draft. This feels very anecdotal, but like, if we want to make like very specific, prescriptive suggestions, let's come in with as much like hard data we can to say like, hey, listen, we're seeing a 30% increase in this kind of behavior, whatever that may be. So.
Yeah, great. Rod, then Rosemary.
I move the letter be referred back to committee for revisal.
Okay. I want to give Rosemary a second. Okay, can I just get Rosemary to make her comment, and then we'll...
Just really quick, I echo and appreciate all of the input that has come forth. With the letter, I see substance use is mentioned, and substances are mentioned. Do you have any idea on who you would suggest lead parents' workshops and develop the age-appropriate curriculum? Are there groups? Are there organizations that you are kind of hoping will step in and do that?
The school can arrange those. The school's supposed to do that now, right now. Now there is no such event like that you are educating the parents about this in future that the kids could get these things. So,
But I think that it kind of couples with what Naz was saying, like getting a little bit more specific with like who could like even just suggestions. I know that obviously we're not going to be like dictating who they're picking, but it might be very helpful in moving that process along. It's very important work, and definitely want to see it handled. So yeah, I like that.
thank you.
Okay, so Rod had motioned to send this back to committee, which it seems like that's what you wanted to do anyway. And also if there's other board members, come to the next committee meeting. If you want to help kind of craft the letter a little bit more, that would be great. Obviously, send your suggestions in as well. So, yes, go ahead. I know, yes. So, we ready? The motion is to send it back to committee, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Okay, we're good. All right, thank you. Anything else for your committee?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, next we are going to go to environmental sanitation. Antonella.
Really short. Hopefully we'll have DSNY at our meeting on February 11th at 6:30 p.m. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Health and Human Services, Shahnaz.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year again. The committee met on the January 16. We have the pool trust presentation. It was really informative, and if anyone wants to watch it, it's in live streaming on YouTube. And thank you for everyone attending. And we didn't schedule any meeting for February yet. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Housing, Katie is sick, and Vanessa let me know she's stuck at work. So we don't have a report from the Housing Committee. I'm going to move on to land use and zoning.
Thank you. I would just like to ask if there are any comments that board members have that would like to see put into this letter that's going to city planning regarding the fresh designation or certification.
Rosemary?
I do. It's really just what I said earlier. I want to make sure that this is an accessible grocery store for that community. That is what I would personally consider a food desert. Just right around there, there's some really great markets and marketplaces for a $20 sandwich, but it's kind of a little bit more difficult if you're just shopping for groceries and on that particular set of blocks. And so I just want to make sure that it's accessible for all of the community members, whatever payment folks are wanting to use for that.
Okay. Thank you. Chris?
I want to just echo what Rosemary said. If you heard the locations of the stores that they currently own, I did a little very quick research. These are upscale, sort of health-oriented, which is wonderful. But upscale means high prices often. I don't imagine, to be very honest, like the residents of Queensbridge and Ravenswood are their target audience when they're planning as they go to the store. Surprise, surprise. So I think all the more reason that it is explicitly stated in this letter that we really expect there to be EDT and other accessibility measures for all residents.
Yeah, and I'm a recovering Upper East Sider, absolutely. Like this is what I'm aiming at as well, and especially since Butterfield Market has stated a claim for 40th Avenue somewhere closer towards 39th, the Avenue stop, but on 40th Avenue, obviously. I don't know where they are in that process, but Butterfield is also a very upscale, nice, delicious. But I really want it to be accessible because, yeah, it's important. So.
Any other suggestions for the letter or questions for Liz or the committee? No? Okay, I think that's a very important point, though. Thanks so much for putting that in there. So I guess we should just take a vote on approving the letter. If that's okay. We'll add that to it.
Yeah. This is a letter that has to be sent before, I think, around February 11th or something like that. So there's time to smooth the edges here.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Motion.
To approve the letter? Okay, Amin, second?
Second.
That was, okay, Rosemary? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, great, thank you. Anything else, Liz, that you wanted to?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that we are having a meeting February 5th, Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month this time. Also, I wanted to follow up with that School Construction Authority proposed school at Howard's Point. We took all of the comments and put them together in a 2-page letter and to Kelly Murphy, Senior Director of Real Estate Services. And what it does is it fully describes all of the issues that occurred, that came up in the discussion from Astoria Houses Residents Association and some of the other issues that we talked about here. So I think we can send it out. I didn't think about putting it in the package, but we can send it out if you want to. That's all I have to say at this point.
Okay, I think Tyrone had a question for you.
Yes, I want to know if that school is going to be focused on special needs students only?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Is the school going to be focused on special needs students only?
Well, we don't know that at this point. And I recall them saying, I recall, what was Mr. Goodman saying that that is another division of the Department of Education that makes that decision, what kind of programs are going to be going into the school. And that's down the line. The school is not even going to start construction, I think, until 26 or 27. And it's probably while they're doing construction, they're going to know how many seats they want and who's going to be in that building by that time. So that's when they're probably going to determine the programs in the building and who will occupy it. Other than that, we have no question. They have no design, they have no plan drawn, they have nothing at this point. Just the concept of a school going on the point, on Howard's Point at this time. So we'll keep on top of it. We'll make sure that we're in touch with them. And also, I mean, part of the letter was really telling them that it was kind of outrageous that they hadn't had any contact with Astoria, the residents of Astoria houses for all these years. And that's the problem that SCA has in outreaching, in addition to NYCHA not making the outreach and letting them know what negotiations are going on. So, we just have to be vigilant, that's all.
Okay, thank you. They had said that the school was going to be in elementary, middle, and I believe a District 75, which is, for,
the special needs.
but nothing has been finalized.
Correct, that's my understanding.
They don't even know how many seats exactly. There was a range
Correct.
that was
There was a
proposed.
huge
So
range.
very much in the beginning stages in terms of the information that we're getting. Any other questions for Liz or anything else for land use? We're good? Okay. Legal, legislative, and parliamentary. Rod?
Hi, everybody. We're going to have a meeting next Wednesday, the 29th. We are going to be looking into the bylaws, especially the bylaws in comparison to recent changes to the city charter and the city charter in general. The bylaws were refreshed about 5 years ago. I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel here, just to freshen up the corners and dust the dust bunnies. That's it.
Thank you. Richard and Rosemary, Parks, Recreation, and Culture.
Yes, we had no meeting in December and January. We are planning on having a meeting February 10th. We will be bringing in a representative from the Department of Cultural Affairs, basically an informational meeting to discuss their services and priorities as we hope to start focusing more on cultural aspects of the community. That'll be February 10th. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Public safety, Chris.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick note on scheduling of the committee. We have had 2 meetings so far after a few years where the committee did not meet at all, so we made a conscious decision to start slowly. We had 1 really consequential joint meeting with the Transportation Committee, which Frank will tell you about in a moment, and we plan to have our next in February or more likely March, so more to come on that. And if I could ask Frank to just talk a little bit about a very important initiative that Public Safety and Transportation have worked on recently.
Sure, and I'll let Transportation speak because they were very much a joint part of this. But in short, the letter that we voted on at the last session here, the revisions that you suggested were taken to heart and incorporated. I believe January 5th that was submitted and has gone out to all the channels regarding reducing unnecessary police chases. I'm happy to report that it's been reported, and I think this is like unofficial leak sort of thing, that Commissioner Tisch has communicated internally that they are revising the chase policy.
It's public.
Oh, it's public now.
Yeah.
Great, sorry. I'm
She had
3
a
kids,
news
I'm not always
conference
reading.
and everything, yeah.
And in at least the article I saw was a mention of this board and our letter. So, you know, we're a small part of a great big effort and lots of folks. But just to everyone who leaned in on that, I just want to say your work matters, and this is super great to hear that we've played a small but important role in helping change that. That's it.
Thank you. Transportation.
Well, Dom's not here, so I'll step in. But yeah, so no scheduled meeting that I'm aware of anytime soon, at least. But yeah, we're super pleased that the stuff regarding the high-speed pursuits changed. We hope it brings some kind of closure to Amanda's family. We really felt like that was super important for us to really pitch in on that. So we're quite happy. I haven't seen the full text myself, but it is official, so it should be out there soon. But yeah, for everyone who contributed, thank you so much. And that's the power of community.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Okay, that's it for committee reports. Next is old business and new business. Any old business? Any new business? Something you want to bring up? Yes, Kian.
Maybe this is for Richard, but for parks, I'm wondering if there's something we can do about, I don't know if this has been brought up before, but just the progress on Rainy Park. Like, I know it's January, I know it's snowing, but it has just been, like, I've been following this pretty closely. Like, I think they were supposed to have the work done in about September. I think they said on their tracker that it's been like 95% done forever. My understanding is that most of it is done, but there's a small segment, I think, of like a playground that's not done yet. And I know what a lot of community members have suggested is that they just rope that off and give access to people. So yeah, I just wanted to know if there was anything we could do as a board to maybe put a little pressure on them to open it up.
About a couple weeks ago, I did speak with Parks on that subject. They basically laid the blame on the supply chain issues. And you're correct, it is almost done. I didn't get a specific date as to when they're going to reopen it, but they said in the very, very near future. And in fact, I would say that, you know, come February, if we haven't seen any movement on it, maybe we can, at that point, send some sort of a letter or something like that. But I know it should be very, very soon.
Yeah, it's just, they've said it's like very, very soon for like months now. Like every single month they've been saying that. So understandably if there's supply chain issues, but it feels to me like there might be some interim solution whereby you would just cordon off whatever part of the park is not ready and you would access the rest of it. It's just a lot of people around that neighborhood specifically just don't have a lot of green space. Socrates closes, I believe, at sunset. And that's one of the only parks you would have available outside of those hours. So yeah, just thought it was something to bring up and maybe we could put a little pressure on if it's not open by February.
Okay.
Thank you. Brian?
Just a quick comment on that. I actually drove by there today and I saw it was open. I saw people walking in the park today. Yeah. So
Oh, they did?
Yeah. I drove by there around 4 o'clock today and it's open. So that's very, very soon. I might be wrong, but I saw it open and I saw people walking.
Great, all right, well, that's, okay, Rod.
I have a question for Antonella. For the sanitation, if DSNY does come to your meeting, I'd like to, if I don't make, I would like to ask it at the meeting, but if I don't go, there's a lot of new daylighting areas in the neighborhood, and it's not really clear who's responsible to clear the snow from those. Like, is that treated as an extended sidewalk now, or is that treated as part of roadway? Because most of the ones near me on 31st Avenue are just slick as hell right now. And maybe if Florence, if you talk to anybody, okay, that would be great. It's just something that on my walk here and almost falling, I thought of.
Shahanaz.
Yeah, I have the same for the environment, Antonella. For the sanitation, also, if they cannot come for your meeting, please, if they can come for the full board. A lot of people has a confusion about the new bins and for compost. Like if we left it outside, they are required to have a lid and the new one. But now people leave it outside and they have the new bins, but it's open. What the purpose to have the new bin if you still have it open? Like, excuse me? Yeah, but if all these bins is brand new and has the cover, but people doesn't even close it, that's mean.
They might close it and someone might open it and throw their garbage in. You don't really know, but.
No, it's full of garbage. It's full of garbage. That's why if they can come and they explain to us how, the change for what?
If the bins are overflowing and the lid can't shut, then they can get fined. So that is something that everybody should know who has to put out a bin. So whether you own a building or a homeowner, whatever the case may be, they do have to shut. So if not, then they can fine you.
The reason of this because a lot of friends, and if we need to help the environment, we need to start from us also. This is why if they come and explain more, and as a community also can help, but still we can be our safeties first.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if I may, if anyone has any questions that we need to ask, then maybe email Florence, and when they're there, we'll ask. Although Florence might have the answer before they come, so
I have the rule book. I can email it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Amin, any other new business?
I know that she's just saying that about the question. I had a question to that, Lala. If they asked the sanitation that their timing changing for 5 to 8 didn't work, so now we are coming to the like bin things. So are they coming back to the 5 o'clock? If you just just talk with the sanitation that the garbage should be out. No, they changed that to 8 o'clock, no?
Right.
Yeah, so they should come at 5 o'clock.
Oh, I thought you said they're going back to 5. I'm like, I don't think so. No, that's not happening.
They should go because it didn't work because there was no results came from that 2 hours.
Okay, so any comments, questions? When hopefully sanitation will come to the next meeting and people can make their comments. Okay, any other items for new business? Okay. Thank you. We're going to move on to elected officials. Any representatives who want to come up to the podium and speak? You have 2 minutes. Please say your name and who you represent.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Brian Straub from the Office of the Public Advocate. So just here with a couple updates from our office. So this month, the Public Advocate will release his annual Worst Landlord Watch List for 2025, or excuse me, for 2024. And that'll be at landlordwatchlist.com, so look out for that. Just as a reminder, from October 1st to May 31st, it's heat season in New York City, and under the law, landlords are required to keep temperatures at least 66 degrees during the day and 62 degrees at night. In terms of upcoming events, you can find out about our upcoming events by following the Eventbrite page at nycpublicadvocate.eventbrite.com. And you can just stay in touch with our office, and any New Yorker that has any issues or anything like that that would like to contact our office can do so by contacting gethelp@advocate.nyc.gov or calling 212-669-7250. Thank you so much and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be back here alongside you all. Happy New Year, happy holidays, and thank you for having me. I'm Benjamin from Assemblymember Zahar Mamdani's office, and our office extends a happy holidays to everyone, and hope you're all staying warm. The first thing we'd like to briefly talk about today are a few important and helpful programs that New York State offers for senior community members 65 and older. The first of which is the Senior Rent Increase Exemption SCREE. It's a part of the New York State Rent Freeze program, and benefits assist eligible senior citizen tenants by freezing their rent if they're eligible at the current level and exempting them from future rent increases. The second is the Senior Homeowners Exemption, or SKI. It's a property tax break for seniors who own 1, 2, or 3 family homes, condos, or co-ops. Seniors can also qualify for reduced prescription prices through the EPIC New York Senior Prescription Plan, or reduced fare Metro cards, or Omni cards now that are widely available. For more information, if you're interested and or need to learn more, there are some pamphlets on the table over there. And lastly, our office wanted to take a moment to highlight an important community cornerstone in distress that needs community support. Astoria Bookshop, which is an LGBTQ-owned, women-owned business founded about a decade ago in 2013, is currently going through some difficulties related to unexpected and costly renovations, and our office just wanted to highlight that as a beloved institution, it needs some community help. So thank you so much and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, Community Board 1. My name is Angela, and I'm with the Office of Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. We're happy to share that the Congresswoman was selected to serve on the Energy and Commerce Committee. The Congresswoman will be sitting on the Health, Energy, and Oversight subcommittees. President Biden, before leaving office, signed into law legislation that authorizes the Army Corps of Engineers in working with the City of New York to spend nearly $190 million to enhance and upgrade environmental infrastructure in the borough to combat excessive flooding in Queens. Our office co-led this effort with Representative Mang and Senator Schumer's offices. We will continue to work together to award this project to the full funding amount. Last Sunday, our office held a Know Your Rights with ICE presentation with Make the Road in Corona. We understand that there are concerns from the community about potential ICE raids. During this time, it's important to know your rights. As a general reminder, you do not have to open the door to immigration officers without a signed warrant by a judge. You can ask them to leave if they do not have a signed warrant. You can stay silent. You do not have to share personal information. You do not have to sign anything over or hand over documents, and you have the right to speak to an attorney. Additionally, if you or loved ones are concerned about your status, please consider keeping a signed DHS privacy waiver in a safe place so that your elected officials can advocate for you on your behalf. If you need help with DHS waivers or have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office. If you would like to request Know Your Rights flyers produced by our office, please get in touch with me directly. As a reminder, our office is also here to help you with any issue pending before a federal agency. You can give us a call at 718-662-5970. We are also available at our Astoria office every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And our Hunts Point flagship office is open on Mondays through Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thank you.
Where's your Astoria office, just so people can know?
30-83 31st Street, where we share the office with Councilmember Caban.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name is Dalma Lama. I'm the District Director at the Office of Assemblyman Stephen Raga. I hope everyone had a wonderful new year. It's almost after a year that I'm attending CB1. I see Florence there. And we always send our community board the announcement and upcoming events that's coming up. I would like to introduce you to Michi, our community liaison, who will be attending the meeting on behalf of the office. She's right there, wave your hand. And few updates for the community board. We have an upcoming legal clinic tomorrow to anything regarding your attendance or government benefits. You can come to our office and get consultation with the attorneys. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our district office, 5519 69th Street, Maspeth. We're right next to Maspeth Federal Bank. We're also having free tax preparation services starting February 1st, and that's going to be every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our district office, similar to the address that I just said earlier. Anyone who makes under 85,000 qualifies, and you do not have to be a constituent. I know majority of our Astoria part got, we do not have it anymore, and we're very sad about that. But a lot of the events that we put out, you do not have to be a constituent. So this is a really good opportunity to take part. It's a free tax services. Tax preparers will come to our district office and file your tax returns. And you'll also get a printed copy of your tax return. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, good evening. I'm from the Office of State Senator Kristen Gonzalez. Happy New Year, it's great to be back. On to community updates. Congestion pricing is now in effect. Please contact our office if you have any questions on how this will affect you. The MTA also has recorded webinars and facts that we are happy to share. Your landlord is required to provide heat until May 31st. If you are experiencing frequent heat, gas, or hot water outages, please reach out to our office. Our office will be having our monthly Astoria office hours on January 27th at Astoria Houses Community Center from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more information, I've left flyers with all the relevant information. In collaboration with the Animal Care Centers of New York City, our office is having a mobile pet adoption event this Saturday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Chocolate Factory Theater. If you're interested, I've also left flyers for this event. The governor signed the senator's bill that implements regulatory guidelines on our state government's use of AI. The bill is the first of its kind in the nation to provide comprehensive labor protections for state workers whose jobs may be impacted by AI. This session, the senator is eager to reintroduce priority bills like the statewide healthcare assessment, chatbot disclosure and liability, and the GAP fund. The senator has also introduced the New York State Sustainability Data Centers Act, aimed at regulating energy consumption for data centers. Additionally, it requires a community discount plan to subsidize energy costs in host communities. The senator is proud to not only continue to chair the Internet and Technology Committee, but is also proud to announce that she has been tasked with chairing the Elections Committee as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, Happy New Year. I'm Tessa from Councilmember Caban's office. I want to start with a really exciting update. We're bringing a new resource to our office. Every 2 weeks we're going to be we're partnering with CUNY Law to bring a housing attorney to our office to do consultations, like around 30-minute consultations if you have questions about your housing and just need to be pointed in the right direction. Whether you have a case or not and you're one of our constituents, then please feel free. You can come talk to me after the meeting about this. I also have all our information about how you can sign up. It'll be every other Wednesday starting tomorrow at our office. And you do have to sign up beforehand. We're also having Astoria Houses satellite office hours, as was just discussed, as well as our CUNY Citizenship Now attorney will be in our office on February 24th for immigration consultations. Participatory budgeting, keep staying tuned for that. We're in the process of having our civic assembly. And then in terms of legislative updates, we just had a hearing on our gender pay equity bill, which requires large employers to provide data on pay disparities within the workforce. So stay tuned for updates on that. And we're also introducing a bill this week to require DSS to supply receipts for applicants for social service programs, because we know that a lot of the time people just keep submitting documents they have no receipts that they've gotten them, and then you have to start the application process all over. So this is a really cool bill we're introducing that's based on something we've noticed from the constituents in Astoria. So I'm really excited about a lot of those updates, and yeah, feel free to come talk to me afterwards if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Javier from District Attorney Katz's office. I'm going to keep it really short tonight. There's a couple of new cases of interest in the newsletter if anyone wants to take a look, and just an update from last month. The DA participated in numerous toy drives. We gave away over 4,000 toys to children and family across Queens to give back to the community. If anyone needs me for any reason, I'm here every single meeting, and thank you so much. Happy New Year everyone as well. Thank
you. Same to you.
Hi guys, my name's Claire. I'm from the Office of Queensborough President Donovan Richards. The community board applications are open and the application window is going to close on February 14th. So if you're up for reapplication, please get that done. And so the applications are on queensbp.nyc.gov. I left flyers there. You can give them to your friends. They have the QR code for the application. If you need a paper application, call our office, but we really prefer the online ones. And if you're not sure about your status, you can reach out to me or the Director of Community Boards, Michael Carlier. His email is mcarlier@queensbp.nyc.gov. And so once your application is submitted, our office is going to reach out to you. I'll reach out to you for a phone interview. And then the interview is like I call you, but you have to schedule it. So make sure to check your email once you submit the application. If it's a new application, reapplicants don't have to interview. And yeah, the notice of the appointments are going to be made in late March. Okay, events very quickly. This Thursday, January 23rd, we're hosting a stalking prevention and intervention training from 12 to 4 p.m. at Queensborough Hall. And then on Thursday, January 30th, is our Lunar New Year celebration, which is also at Queensborough Hall. You can RSVP at queensbp.nyc.gov. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? All right. Well, with that, can I have a motion to adjourn? Motion. Too many motions. I don't think we can adjourn. Okay, Jean Marie, and second, Juliet. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.